listening to the Fifth Down Fantasy Football Podcast with Johnny Slokes.
Top 3 to 5 pick next year.
And Amy Lott.
For the value you could have gotten at Ryan at.
I almost had 5,000 yards, but no, you don't want me. What you're saying is Wayne Gallman is the Dustin Funches of running backs?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I guess you can put me down in the book saying that.
We now bring you to the Fifth Down.
I'm going to start this show off on a little mini rant. I've been holding it in for too long, and I feel like I'm ready to explode. I want to know what the fuck is going on with all these running backs on these mediocre teams going in the second and third round, and so far in a lot of these mocks, like Jordan Howard, Todd Gurley, Jay Ajayi, Leonard Fournette, Zach Howell. I'll even throw maybe McCaffrey in there. It's a big group of running backs that are being drafted so high, and I don't get it. None of them should sniff close to 10 touchdowns. They all played for teams that should be losing often. A lot of them, there's a couple of them though that have exceptions, but most of them aren't going to catch a ton of passes. Why are they getting drafted so high? There's receivers going in the second and third round that are just better options than these running backs. These are running backs, or these are wide receivers that have scored 10 plus touchdowns before, and they play for good teams with great quarterbacks. Don't overthink it this year. Just draft a wide receiver in the second and third round and reap the rewards. I do, however, like DeMarco Murray in the second round, and I guess maybe Lamar Miller if he falls a little bit in the third.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with PPR leagues, you want to go get those good receivers early, and I would stay away from most of those running backs in the second round, like you said, and I'd probably be more apt to get them if they drop in the third just to see. But I think you'll end up reaping the benefits if you're the one who gets the receivers in the second round and everybody else is going running back. I think that's going to end up being a good strategy for you.
Well, because I was working on an article about draft strategy, and I was looking at the ADP, and then I was looking at the running backs, and I was like, a lot of running backs in that range. It's like the running back graveyard to me, where it's just a bunch of running backs all right in a row that are on bad teams, and they could easily get game flowed out because a lot of them aren't bona fide pass catchers, And I was like, wow, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
I'm sorry for that, Fifth Downers. You're listening to the Fifth Down Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Johnny Slokes, and with me is Casey. I'm really glad to have you on. I apologize for all that.
It's all right, man. It's good.
That's just pretty much how my week has been going, how I've been looking at things.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be doing our first of 4 installments of our divisional breakdowns. We'll be hitting the NFC and the AFC North pretty hard today. Casey, you'll be helping me out. Which conference do you think we should start on, the AFC or NFC?
Hey, it's up to you, man. I mean, my Packers are in the NFC North, so I'm good to go whenever you want to start going on the NFC. So we can start wherever you want.
All right. I think before we get to that, we'll do a little bit of station identification. We're part of the BS Podcast Network. We're in the gold tier. Check us out there. www.bspodcastnetwork.com. You can find our shows on www.flurriedsports.org, a great new sports site that just opened up. We're also on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. Oh, dude, did you know that they you can create your own channels on SleeperBot now? Do you use that at all, Casey?
Oh, I don't use that, but I've started up a couple podcasts with different things, not fantasy related, so I might look at that.
Yeah, I started using this app, and it gives you pretty fast injury updates. But then I I had to turn like the notification off because I kept getting like notifications about like touchdowns that I didn't even like see on like the Red Zone channel. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like they're coming out with, like notifications before the TV is.
Yeah.
But let's jump into some news and notes. I know. Did you hear about Chris Johnson re-signing with the Arizona Cardinals? Do you feel like he's like now like the handcuff for David Johnson?
Yeah, I did see that today. I saw that. He really kind of broke out before David Johnson. He had that good season where people had kind of forgot about him, and he came back and then he did good, but then nothing really since then. So I don't really.
He was good, and then he got hurt. David Johnson came in and then just ran away with it pretty much. I think like he played in like 4 games last year, and he got hurt with like a groin injury or something like that, and got like on IR.
Yeah.
Stafford could get an extension within the coming weeks. We know Derek Carr just got. Obviously, he's going to get paid more than that. Stafford's agent was trying to hold out as long as he could to see if Cousins was going to get a deal. Obviously, it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. So, I mean, Stafford's going to be the highest paid quarterback going into the season, probably.
Yeah, it's his turn.
Jamal Williams opening up camp as the backup to Ty Montgomery. You still think he's worth the stash, though?
I mean, I do, just because, Ty Montgomery has some injury history, and, you never know how he's like. He did good last year, and I'm really hoping he's going to do great this year. But, I mean, there is still a question mark there. So it's always good to have a handcuff for him, but at the same time, like, the Packers do not run the ball much. And so if Montgomery stays healthy, Jamal Williams would be pretty useless on your team. But, I mean, if Montgomery gets hurt, he'd be a sell-high candidate for me, just because I feel like if Ty Montgomery gets hurt, even if Jamal Williams is the backup, they'll still do a bit of a timeshare.
I know I was able to actually trade Ty Montgomery last year when he first came on as a starter, and he started doing it. He had a couple of good games, and I was able to flip him for Latavius Murray, and then Latavius Murray started scoring all those touchdowns. Something I'll probably end up doing something like that too.
Yeah.
Zeke's investigation is suspended. Are you not worried about him as much going into the season, or do you think there's still a chance that he could serve maybe a short suspension or anything along those lines?
I mean, I'm more worried than I was when you asked me last time, probably like a month or two ago, because there's just more stuff going on now, and, he's not – I don't think he's going to get suspended for anything he's done, but, he's just adding to his resume, so he's going to be on a shorter leash. And, that just worries me as someone who you're going to be picking, in the top 5. So, for me, that's going to make it tough, with Odell Beckham and
ADP
Julio.
Down a little bit, in your opinion?
Yeah, so it is a little bit. Like, it's going to make it tough if you're sitting there, assuming Antonio Brown goes at 3. If you're sitting there at 4 or 5, you're going to have a little bit of a toss-up on your hands if you want to go ahead and get one of those great receivers, or do you want to, take the chance with Zeke that he might get suspended? He's probably going to be there for the fantasy playoffs, so you don't want to let him slip too much. And I'm one of those people that if I'm sitting there at 6, I'm hoping people pick the receivers. Like, I would love for him to slip. So I'm hoping his ADP goes down because I'll still draft him. I'm not worried enough where I won't draft him, but I do think it'll make him slide a little bit.
What if going into the season before, like say sometime in like August it comes out he is going to get suspended for 2 games? Then where do you draft him?
Then I think I'd probably put him at 6. That's where I think he would probably go, because I think if he's going to be suspended for 2 games, people might not be willing to risk that, even though he'll still be playing. When you need him, you don't want to just risk those 2 games. That might make you push Julio and Odell Beckham ahead of him. So I think that would probably make him slide to around 6. I still think most people would take him before those receivers, but I could definitely see that make it. I could see, like, if he got suspended, that would make him fall a little bit for sure.
Yeah, we'll get plenty of time to talk about this as the season approaches, so we're not gonna burn it all out here in one stroke here, So, it's definitely something that we'll keep an eye on. Mike Williams to open on the PUP list. I guess it's not really that big of a surprise. Did you see that thing on Twitter where, like, I think it was Scheffler, he tweeted out that he's going to miss the season. He just got back surgery. He's going to need back surgery.
Oh, I did not see that.
Oh, yeah, that's when it was first reported that he was going to miss the season. And, like, he needs season-ending back surgery. But then apparently he already – then